Right. So now we will go on to having a wee look. We are mid-May, which I haven't mentioned before, but we are mid-May. And in May, as a general, at the beginning, I've given you an outline, which I cannot remember. I'm sorry, I don't keep a record of what we have. The only one that came up back into my head this morning was that we had the Emperor. So the Emperor is, you are in charge of your life. You know you're in control of your life this month. What you do matters. And that means that if somebody is having a go at you, you are in control to take yourself out of that situation, to preempt the situation, to do things, say things, to maybe, or have silence, to help negate the situation, bring the situation down. You have power and control, and I need you to remember that this month, because we're all being influenced, and particularly now at the time of the Scorpio full moon, with releasing negative stuff. Because Scorpio has a sting in her tail, it can come out kind of abruptly. It could be short-lived, but it can have an effect that lasts. It can be hurtful. It can last for a while. It's, I think, it's just something to be aware of, that yourself release anything that is negative or emotional. Okay. So if I was to have a little look at May, going forward now, middle of May, and I've got Doreen Virtue's cards here, so I'm just going to pick one of Doreen Virtue's cards out, and it is Athena, inner wisdom. So inner wisdom, you know what to do. Trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So this is for anything in your life, anything at all, any area of your life, with your money. Okay? Think about that. Take action in any way you know. Your relationships, your family, your health. That's another one. So, key points for Athena, inner wisdom. Stop procrastinating. Stop giving away your power to others. Interesting that it's matched up with what I was saying about you are in control. Trust your gut. Trust your instincts. Trust your inner knowing, because sometimes it's like, I know I need to do something different to this. Please. That's like somebody yelling at you because you're about to step off a cliff. So at least pause. Don't second guess yourself. You are correct. Notice reoccurring ideas and take action on them. So if you've had anything that's been like an idea that just keeps coming back to you, always just take notice, because it's not just an idea. It is your inner wisdom guiding you forward. If you are looking for guidance, that's how guidance comes, you know. Sometimes it's like something just kind of like pulling you or poking you on the inside. It's going, come on, let's do this. Especially if you're thinking of going for a job, or if you are looking to kind of get the courage up to do something, and then that little something goes, come on, inside you. It's not your mind going, get on with it, because you can ignore your mind, and you can ignore your gut too. But the gut kind of, come on, do it. Just give it a go. And you still have choice. You don't have to, but it would have been okay. It would have worked out. The gut's saying, come on, do it, because it will work out and it will be okay. It is what you need to do. And yeah, So what else would we have then for May? For the middle of May, because we are the middle, and apart from the fact of the full moon, and seriously, if you want to look up the Scorpio full moon, that's always a nice idea, because there's information everywhere out there, and whether you believe in things or not, it's good for you to kind of explore new information. You don't have to take it on board. You only ever have to take on board what you believe, but understand that what you believe is, what you decided between the ages of 7 years old and 10 years old. And maybe you've changed a couple of beliefs since then through life circumstances and everything else, but you've still got a lot of beliefs there that are based on your upbringing and your parents' way of living that still you follow. It's like, no, this is bad because it just is. But question why. Why is that bad? Is it something that you heard your parents saying over and over? Is it something that you lived as a pattern in your life, so you kind of believe that? Just question your beliefs, because we can always take on different beliefs, and what you believe comes true. What you believe comes true. So if you want happiness, believe it's possible. If you want joy, believe it is possible. I did not feel the feeling of joy in my growing up life until I was older. And I didn't realise it at the time, but the very, very first time that I experienced the feeling of joy, it was more elation, but it was around the birth of my second child, because it had been a natural birth, where my first birth had been a traumatic, ongoing nightmare that left me with what today would be called PTSD, and it wasn't diagnosed back in the day. You were only known as neurotic woman, and nothing about what you've been through was validated in that way. Anywho, so I'll have a little look and see what the cards have. Cards, let's say it this way, okay, so how can cards tell you about anything? There is something about our mind, our consciousness, our unconsciousness that kind of links with us in a very kind of physical way, right? So when we dream, our unconscious gives us dreams that make no sense when we're awake. They make complete sense when we're asleep. If we're observing them, they make no sense when we wake up. The cards somehow, and it's all scientifically proven, link in with our consciousness, our unconsciousness, if you like. So if you are asking for help, or if you're asking for guidance, if you're asking about, whether you're on track or doing the right thing, the cards can actually give a little bit of a direction and guidance with this. We are humans. We need something in front of us sometimes. We need like something in front of us that is a piece of paper. So this is the Fool. So the Fool is the beginning. It relates to the Joker, by the way. It means the Joker can work with any card. However, this is the beginning of a path. This is the beginning, actually, of a new adventure for you. Okay, so there's something in your finances, or your family, with your health, with your money, with your work, that is brand new, that you will start as a new chapter a new adventure in your life. This is about a new chapter, like seeing a new part of you coming to life, actually, is what it says. You may not even have to look for it. It may be out of everything you've been doing over the last 12 to 18 months, you may actually find that something kind of comes in front of you now that relates to those things, that gives you the opportunity to take that step. This pretty much promises that you're ready and that you will take that step into that new area, that new direction. It says, go in with your eyes open. It's simply, when you're doing something new, know what you're doing. Be that open-eyed child of innocence, ready to learn, ready to discover all the things that there are on this new part of your life. And as I said, it can be in any area. If it was your health, for instance, there could be something new that comes in front of you, or that somebody says to you about, we've just found out that this can be really useful for your condition. And being open to that and curious about it, find out more about it. That's the key when you're doing anything new. It's just do a bit of research. Find out more about it. Find out how that might work for you a bit better. Proceed cautiously, it says. It's like, this is brand new. There are things on this path that you have never encountered before, and that are exciting and new and could bring absolutely, all those things that we were saying that are necessary into your life. That bring happiness, joy, hope. And, I was talking before about peace, because peace, pure peace, it's blessed peace. It is peace. It is what, when we pass away, we experience that peace, that absolute release of care, worries, suffering. And you can find peace in your everyday life. It is little moments. It is, if you claim them. So this is the difference, okay? So we live our day, and perhaps we don't take note of any point in our day where it's peaceful. But when you're busy, you are looking for anything that's a bit peaceful. And so the moment you get into your car to drive home from work, for instance, you sit there and you just go, that is your experience of peace. And you can have more of it by giving yourself more of those release breaths and peace before you switch the car on and drive home. You can give yourself a sense of peace in other activities in your life as well. Even if you've been walking around, to sit down and that, because peace is a release. Peace is a letting go of the worry, the stress, the struggle. So finding peace in anything you can do when you've been through a really big time of struggle where it's exhausted you on every level of your being, is to give yourself as much of those moments of peace as you can. And it's so self-nurturing, and you're supposed to be nurturing yourself here. You can't help others if you do not help yourself first. And my mother taught me that, even though my mother never appeared to look after herself at all, she understood the very importance of that. And that if you don't look after yourself, how can you expect to look after others as well as you want to look after them. And the truth is, if you haven't learnt what helping is, which means you try it on yourself first, then you can't really know how your help is helping somebody else. And that's important to you. You do want to help as much as you can. So we've got a whole new adventure, a whole new journey in front of you. Now, this is something that triggers off in this month of May. Yes, May. Sorry, I went sideways. So we are in the month of May. For some of you out there, I've got that this will be spring, that it will really kick in, that you'll really feel a newness. Now, it's not just because it's spring and spring is new life, but maybe it is a little bit, because if you have been a little bit numb to the feelings that you are experiencing, that addition of that spring energy just helps you have that optimism, that freshness, that there's something new, something more, hope to come in. So we would just say in that case, use the rest of autumn and winter as you're finding ways to give yourself that sense of peace. Say to yourself, this is peace. This is peaceful. I am feeling at peace. Because the more you say that, the more you will feel peace completely, the more you will recognize that it is something that you need. And that you will acknowledge that you are allowing yourself this peace, which is one of the most self-honoring things that you can do. And we are here on the planet to honor ourself. It's not about being selfish. It's about being self-caring enough to give ourselves everything we need to be that best person that can help others, to have the energy to help others, to have the ideas and the inspirations to be able to help in very effective ways. Okay. So let's have a little more of a look at what else we might have to take us into the next couple of weeks of May. Now, what I will say to you, it's said that it's come out as a new path, but there's also something around change as well in the next 2 weeks. You know, it may spark off from the full moon today, but there are things that will gain more clarity. It could be that there are surprises, there are unexpected things that happen, but that it will provide you with some clarity. And maybe that's why there'll be this new path, this new chapter in your life, this new phase in your life. It says that also in relationships, it's key for the next 2 weeks. Relationships matter. Introducing something new and different into the dynamic of your relationship. You know, if go on a picnic. I understand the weather's not the greatest, but here in the Bay, you know, we're with Radio Hawke's Bay, so we're in Hawke's Bay. It is, we have had most amazing sunshine days, and they can still be picnic days because the temperature is still warm. We are very, very lucky. I feel very blessed in my life in many, many ways. And this is absolutely blessed. It is with the knowledge, understanding, and experience gained through life that has shown me how blessed I am through everything. Blessed lives are often very difficult. So let's look relationships for the next 2 weeks are very key. So depending on what outbursts there might be, what releasing there might be, and I do encourage you again, your own emotional stuff is likely to come to the surface. Please deal with it in a sacred solitude of type, not at or toward another person. You can go to the sea. The sea is emotion itself, and it can absorb all your emotion. You can yell things into the sea. You can throw stones out into the sea. It is important to find some sort of balance in relationships, and to look at your relationships. It's like whatever stresses there are in your relationships, there is always a negotiation. There is always a way to view a situation differently to the way you're viewing it. And one of the really most important things for the next couple of weeks is please do not take things personally if it's coming from someone you care about particularly, because this is talking about relationships that are important to us. And when we both release our fears, our concerns, our discomforts, our pain, which is exactly what an outburst is, it can affect the other person, and that person then can react, and then of course that person reacts, and it can become destructive. So to avoid that destructiveness, if you have things come up, you can deal with yours. You can get out of the way of somebody else's by saying, can't do this right now, and find a space, think of ways that this could be resolved in a different way, that you could approach it in a different way. What other perception could you take around this? That person who is having an outburst is in absolute pain and agony, and yes, it might come out as anger, but they are hurting in such deeply profound ways that they cannot cope. They cannot deal with it. It is not excusing their behaviour. That behaviour never is excusable. It is simply to understand that that person in that moment is just hurting beyond hurt. And you know what is it? We hurt the ones we love. So if you're the one that they're aiming anything at, it is simply because they love you. And by attacking you, they are actually attacking the part in themselves that they love. Did you know that? Because that is what's happening. And for that we need strategy, not judgment. I get it. We all have emotion. We all get hurt. You know, as women, we have more tools to deal with that. We forget that. But we have wisdom and knowledge, and we are the ones that actually can create a peaceful world, a peaceful household. It's the how to do it. So this is Radio Hawke's Bay. I'm Gail, and if you would like to have a session with me, it can be about any problem that you have in your life. If you are looking to find a way through, a path through a difficult situation in a relationship, or with your money, or with your health, or with your personal growth, your spiritual side, your psychic side, if you are having or needing any help or any assistance in any aspect or area of your life, then I am available. Call me on 027 4166 545. I am someone who has experienced many, many things in life, and it is not easy to live life, people. If your life is wonderful, that is absolutely brilliant. I love that for you. For those of you that are struggling, though, just know that there is somebody who's even just willing to listen. If you just need to talk to somebody about everything in your life, sometimes that's kind of precious. And I will listen. I will listen. I have maybe some things that could be helpful. I do and can offer different perspectives as well. So we will just have one final card to wrap everything up today, people. And I really hope you have a lovely day, that you have a lovely, that you can actually get a little bit of sun actually today would be nice. If the sun's out, when the sun's out, if you can just sit in a spot of sun, that in itself is just that little moment of peace that we were talking about before. Please be diplomatic in all your relationships. Diplomacy goes a long way. If you avoid taking sides and can see both sides of the situation with people, this next couple of weeks, it can be really helpful. It could really diffuse some difficult situations, and these are work ones as well. And yeah, just be kind to yourself. Give love, kindness, caring wherever you can to anybody. Strangers just need a smile. But and always remember, a smile can save a life. And that's what we're here to do, is to help each other survive and have a good life. Namaste, take care. I am Gail, and you can contact me on 027 4166 545. You have been with Radio Hawke's Bay, your local radio.
This program was produced by and first broadcast on Radio Hawke's Bay, a community access media station. Thank you to New Zealand On Air for making this type of programming possible.